Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Native Echo Podcast, where we make English simple and enjoyable. I am Harper, and today it is just me. No Julian, just you and me, and a topic that I genuinely think about every single day: food, eating, meals, all of it. I know it sounds simple. I know you might be thinking, Harper, food is not that deep. But I disagree. And by the end of this episode, I think you might disagree with your old self too. So grab whatever you are drinking right now, get comfortable, and let us talk. I want to start with something that happened to me last week. I was at a restaurant with a friend. A nice place, not fancy, just comfortable. The kind of place where the lighting is warm and the chairs are soft, and you feel like you can stay for a long time. We ordered our food, and while we were waiting, my friend looked at me and said, "You always look so happy when you are at a restaurant." And I laughed because, honestly, yes, I do. I think restaurants make me feel a very specific kind of calm. Like everything outside that door can wait. The emails can wait. The to do list can wait. Right now, there is a menu in my hands, and that is enough. And I started thinking about why that is. Why does food make so many people feel that way? Why do we gather around it? Why do we celebrate with it? Why do we comfort each other with it? You have a bad day, someone brings you soup. You get a promotion, you go out for dinner. Someone visits from far away, you cook something special. Food is not just fuel, it is a language. And today we are going to learn how to speak it in English. Let me start with the basics. When we talk about food in English, one of the first things people want to know is how to express what they like and what they do not like. And this is actually more interesting than it sounds, because in English, the way you say something can completely change how you come across to other people. Let me give you an example. If someone offers you a dish and you do not enjoy it, you could say, "I hate this." But that is very strong, very blunt. In real life, most people would say something softer, something like, "This is not really my thing," or "I am not a huge fan of this," or even just, honestly, "It is not my favorite." These phrases all mean the same thing, but they feel different. They feel warmer, more polite, more natural, and that is the kind of English I want you to have. Not just correct English, natural English. Now let me teach you a word that I think is underused and underappreciated. The word is crave, C-R-A-V-E. To crave something means to want it very strongly. Not just want, crave is bigger than want. It is like your body is calling for something specific. I am craving pizza right now. I have been craving chocolate all day. She craves coffee every morning without exception. Do you feel that? Crave has energy inside it. It is not passive. When you crave something, your whole body knows about it. And I think everyone has foods they crave in a very specific way. For me, it is warm bread, fresh bread from a bakery, the kind where you walk past the shop and the smell just stops you completely. You were not planning to go in, you had no intention of buying bread that day, but here you are, standing in line, because something in your brain said, "Yes, this is exactly what we need right now." That is a craving. What do you crave? Think about it for a second. Think about a food that when you think of it, something inside you wakes up a little. Maybe it is something from your childhood. Maybe it is something your grandmother used to make. Maybe it is something you had on a trip once and you have never quite found again. That feeling is what crave describes, and now you have a word for it. Let us talk about meals for a moment. In English, we generally divide the day into three main meals: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast is the first meal of the day. The word actually comes from two old words, break and fast. Fast here does not mean quick. It means a period of time without eating. So breakfast literally means breaking the period when you were not eating, which is your sleep. You wake up and you break your fast. Breakfast. I find that so interesting because it means that even the word itself tells a story. Language is full of these small stories if you look for them. Now, breakfast is a meal that divides people very strongly. Some people are serious breakfast people. They wake up early, they make eggs, they have toast, maybe some fruit, a cup of tea or coffee, and they feel ready for the day. And then there are people who cannot think about food in the morning at all. The idea of eating before 11 a.m. feels almost uncomfortable to them. And both of these are completely normal. But if you are learning English and you want to talk about your morning habits, here are some useful phrases. I usually skip breakfast. Skip here means to not do something that you normally would do. I skipped breakfast this morning because I was running late. I grabbed something quick on the way to work. Grabbed is very natural here. It means you took something fast without much thought. I grabbed a banana. I grabbed a coffee. I grabbed a muffin from the bakery. Quick, easy, no planning involved. Or you can say, I always make time for breakfast. I think it sets the tones of the day. Sets the tone is a great phrase. It means it decides the mood or the direction of what comes after. A good breakfast sets the tone for the day. A bad meeting sets the tone for the afternoon. You can use this in many situations. Lunch is interesting because in different countries it has a very different role. In some places, lunch is the biggest meal of the day, a long meal with family or friends, maybe a rest afterward. In other places, lunch is something you eat quickly at your desk while looking at your computer screen. A sad little sandwich in a paper bag. No judgment. I have done it many times. In English, when we talk about lunch, we often say have lunch or grab lunch or go out for lunch. I had a big lunch today. Do you want to grab lunch together? I usually eat lunch at my desk. These are all very natural and common. Dinner is the evening meal, and in many English-speaking cultures, it is considered the main social meal of the day, the one where families sit together, where friends meet, where you take more time. And there are so many things connected to dinner: setting the table, cooking, cleaning up afterward, and of course, the conversation that happens around it. Actually, I want to talk about that for a moment, the conversation around dinner, because I think it is one of the most beautiful parts of food culture that does not get enough attention. There is something about sitting around a table with food in front of you that makes people open up. I do not know what it is exactly. Maybe it is the warmth. Maybe it is because you are doing something together, this very human act of eating. But people talk differently at dinner tables. They laugh more easily. They share things they might not share in other settings. I have had some of the most honest conversations of my life at dinner tables, some of the funniest moments, some of the most unexpected ones. A simple question like, what was the best meal you ever had, can turn into a whole evening of stories. Try it sometime if you have not already. Now, let me talk about some vocabulary for describing food. Because when you are at a restaurant or cooking for someone or just talking about what you ate, it is important to have more than just good and bad in your vocabulary. The word delicious. Delicious means it tastes very, very good. It is a strong positive word. This pasta is absolutely delicious. The soup was delicious. I think it is one of the most satisfying words in the English language, actually. Delicious. Even saying it feels good. Then there is the word rich. When food is rich, it means it has a strong, heavy flavor, usually from butter or cream or chocolate or oil. A rich chocolate cake, a rich pasta sauce, a rich broth that has been cooking for hours. Rich food is not light. It is the opposite of light. It fills you up quickly and it stays with you. And speaking of light, that is another food word. Light food is easy to eat. It does not feel heavy in your stomach. A salad is light. Grilled fish is light. Fruit is light. When you say, I want something light, you are saying you do not want something heavy or complicated or too filling. Here is one that I love: the word comforting. Comforting food is food that makes you feel safe and warm and a little bit like everything is going to be okay. Comfort food, we call it. And comfort food is different for every person. For some people, it is soup. For some people, it is pasta. For some people, it is rice porridge or bread or mashed potatoes. Comfort food is usually simple. It is usually warm, and it almost always has some memory attached to it. What is your comfort food? I am genuinely curious. Mine is soup. Any soup, honestly, but especially a thick vegetable soup with good bread on the side. When I am tired or sad or just had a long, difficult week, that is what I want. Something warm in a bowl that one can hold with both hands. Let me talk now about eating out versus cooking at home, because this is a very real part of daily life and it is a topic that comes up constantly in English conversations. Eating out means going to a restaurant or a cafe or any place where someone else prepares your food. When you eat out, you usually look at a menu, you order, you wait, and someone brings the food to you. It is convenient and it is social, and it means you do not have to do dishes afterward, which for many people is the real selling point. Cooking at home means you prepare your own food in your own kitchen. This takes more time and more effort, but it also gives you control. You know exactly what is in your food, you can make it exactly how you like it, and there is something genuinely satisfying about eating something you made yourself. In English, when we talk about someone who cooks well, we say they are a good cook. Or you can say she can really cook. Or he knows his way around the kitchen. That last phrase, knows his way around the kitchen, is very natural and a little bit poetic. It means he is comfortable there. He knows what he is doing. He does not panic when something goes wrong. And things do go wrong in kitchens. That is part of cooking. You burn something. You add too much salt, the timing is off, and everything is ready at different times. I once tried to make a simple pasta dish and somehow managed to make the sauce too sweet and too sour at the same time. I still do not know how. Julian asked for seconds to be polite, and I could see the effort it took him. That is friendship. But you learn from those mistakes, and the next time is always a little better. Cooking is a skill that you build slowly, the same way you build English, one small thing at a time. Let me now give you some phrases that are really useful when you are at a restaurant, because this is a situation many learners find slightly stressful, and I want you to feel confident. When you arrive, the host or waiter will often greet you and ask something like, "Do you have a reservation?" or "How many people?" You can simply say, "I have a reservation under the name Harper," or "Two people, please." Very simple. When you sit down and are ready to order, you might say, "Can I have the menu, please?" Or, "Excuse me, I think we are ready to order." The phrase, "we are ready to order," is very useful. It signals to the waiter that they can come to your table. When you order, use "I would like," or "I will have," or "Can I get?" These are all natural and polite. I would like the pasta with tomato sauce. I will have the chicken, please. Can I get a glass of water? Notice how none of these start with "I want." "I want" is not wrong, but it can sound a little direct or impatient in a restaurant setting. "I would like" and "Can I get" are softer and more comfortable. If you have a question about the menu, you can ask, "What do you recommend?" This is a lovely question because it puts the waiter in the role of guide, and often you get a genuinely good suggestion. Or you can ask, "Is this dish spicy? Does this contain any nuts? Is this vegetarian?" These are all perfectly normal questions, and any good restaurant will be happy to answer them. And when the food arrives, a very natural thing to say is, "This looks wonderful, thank you." Or just, "Oh, this smells amazing." These small comments are not just polite, they actually create a warmer interaction with whoever is serving you. People notice when you acknowledge their work, even just briefly. Now let us talk about something I think is underappreciated in language learning, the vocabulary of texture. Because taste is not the only thing we experience when we eat. The way food feels in your mouth is equally important. Crunchy means it makes a sound when you bite it. Potato chips are crunchy, toast is crunchy, fresh carrots are crunchy. There is something very satisfying about crunchy food. It wakes you up a little. Creamy means it is smooth and soft and rich in a liquid kind of way. Mashed potatoes can be creamy, soup can be creamy, a good yogurt is creamy, a ripe avocado is creamy. Chewy means you have to work a little bit with your teeth. Some bread is chewy, caramel is chewy, certain cuts of meat are chewy. Chewy is sometimes positive and sometimes not, depending on whether you wanted it to be that way. Tender is the positive version of chewy. When meat is tender, it means it is soft and easy to eat. The chicken was so tender it fell off the bone. That is a very high compliment for cooked meat. And then there is mushy. Mushy is usually not a compliment. Mushy means something is too soft, too wet, with no structure left. Overcooked vegetables get mushy. Old fruit gets mushy. I personally cannot eat mushy food. It is a texture I struggle with completely. What about you? Do you have a texture that you can't handle? It is a surprisingly personal thing. I know people who cannot eat anything with seeds in it, people who refuse all crunchy food, people who will only eat things that are smooth. Food preferences go so deep. They are connected to childhood, to memory, to things we cannot always explain. That brings me to something I find fascinating: the idea of food memory. The way a taste or a smell can take you somewhere completely without warning. You are walking down a street, you smell something baking, and suddenly you are 6 years old again in your grandmother's kitchen. You are not thinking about it, you did not plan to be there, but the smell carried you. That is a food memory. In English, we sometimes say a dish is nostalgic. Nostalgic means it makes you feel a warm, sad happiness about the past, like you want to go back, but you also know you cannot. Nostalgic is a beautiful word for a complicated feeling. I have a very nostalgic feeling about a very simple dish: tomato toast. Just bread, toasted, with sliced tomato on top, a little olive oil and salt. It sounds like nothing special, but my mother used to make it on Sunday mornings, and when I smell tomato and olive oil together now, I am immediately back in that kitchen. The sound of the radio, the light coming through the window, all from toast. Food carries time in it somehow. And that is remarkable. Okay, let us do our recap now. I always love this part because it is your chance to make sure everything we explored today actually stays with you. The first word is crave. To crave something means to want it very strongly, a deep physical desire for a specific food. I am craving something warm tonight. I have been craving that soup all week. The second word is bland. Bland means something has very little taste, no strong flavor, nothing interesting. The food was okay, but a little bland. It needed more salt. The third word is comforting. Comforting describes something that makes you feel safe and warm. Comforting food is usually simple and familiar. That soup was so comforting, exactly what I needed. The fourth phrase is sets the tone. This means it decides the mood or direction of what comes after. A good breakfast sets the tone for the whole day. And the fifth word is nostalgic. Nostalgic means a bittersweet feeling about the past, a warmth mixed with a little sadness. That dish is so nostalgic for me. It takes me straight back to being a child. Those are your five: crave, bland, comforting, sets the tone, nostalgic. Try to use at least one of them today, even just in your head, even if you are just thinking about what to eat for dinner. Use the words. That is how they become yours. Before I go, I want to leave you with a question for the comments. And the question is this: what is one food that is deeply nostalgic for you? Just one. And try to explain it in 1 or 2 sentences in English. It does not have to be perfect, it just has to be honest. I read every comment and I genuinely love learning about the foods that matter to people. It tells you so much about a life. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to Native Echo Podcast and give it a like. It helps more people find us. And if you have a friend who is learning English, share this episode with them, especially if they love food, because this one was made for them too. You can also join our community on WhatsApp. The link is in the description. It is a calm and friendly space where you can practice English, share your thoughts, and connect with other learners just like you. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Julian will be back in the next episode, and I am sure he will have some strong opinions about something. He always does. Until then, take care of yourself, eat something delicious, and I will see you very soon. Goodbye, everyone.